G'day everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. The footy tips, we're back for 2025. Keen to get into it once again, and we begin with the opening round for this season. Footy tipping competition, always pretty popular on the channel. If you have already joined in the past, do not worry, the competition does carry over on ESPN footy tips. But if you've manually left or you haven't joined before, first link in the description, feel free to join, it's free too, and there are some cash prizes up for grabs at the end of the year. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you do go to enjoy today's video. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so the opening round, it is, a bit of controversy built around opening round. It feels like year in, year out, this is getting a bit more unpopular. I mean, I don't mind it too much given my Swannies do play, but it's understandable. It just still feels a bit odd about how teams are starting earlier than others. But it is what it is, and at least we're getting footy a week early. In terms of the games, well, it's the start of the year. We haven't really seen these teams play apart from pre-season, but you can't really look at pre-season too much in terms of a preview, tipping, given their pre-season games. But really excited to see how these games do pan out, and we start on the Thursday night with a game that might not even happen. This has been a very strange one. The past few days, the news just keeps on getting built up more and more that there is going to be apparently a cyclone hitting southeast Queensland roughly Wednesday or Thursday, and there's going to be a lot of rain, a lot of wind, and geez, when you hear the word cyclone, I mean, will the AFL even continue and persist with this game? Andrew Dillon said, look, for now, we'll just make sure everything's safe, and then we'll give it the green light. But geez, you'd think this is no chance if there's going to be a cyclone. I'm just going to assume that the game will be played, and there's going to be a lot of rain and a lot of wind. So this would just be an ugly game to start off the year, but at least it's football. So yeah, Lions and Geelong at the Gabba. Two sides with a lot of expectations in 2025. Brisbane will have their flag unfurling, so that will be some great sights to see. In terms of personnel, Bailey Smith will be getting his first game as a Geelong Cat. Compared to last year, no more Tom Hawkins and 𝐓𝐴𝐿𝐼 for this Cat side, but you just know the talent and just such a well-balanced unit of group they do have. There's going to be players that can fill in the voids really nicely. A lot of expectation on Shannon Neal to have a good season, and they're going to be playing Paddy Dangerfield a lot more forward from what we did see against the Dons in that pre-season hit-out. Given the conditions, it might be a game where the tools will struggle to influence, but Jeremy Cameron, if he can outwork his direct opponent, he could definitely be the difference in this match. And as for 𝐓𝐴𝐿𝐼, well, geez, I was really impressed with Zach Guthrie's game against the Dons. Just looks like he could go to the next level, so underrated, and you've got a few young players back there with the likes of Lawson Humphries too. Connor O'Sullivan, the youngster, had some nice moments in pre-season as well. I feel like still this year for the Cats, the midfield will remain a little bit of a concern in a handful of matches here or there, and given the conditions of this game, that could be the case for this opening hour match when you look at Brisbane's midfield, just star-studded. Still these questions on Brisbane, especially probably the start of the year, on a few of those key players like Lachie Neale, etc. coming, having shorter pre-seasons, how they fare in the first few weeks. But you just look at on paper, Brisbane's midfield, you'd think far superior to the Cats. They will miss Brandon 𝐼𝐶𝐼𝐶 though due to concussion. That's a big out. Such an underrated defender on those smalls, and that's where the Cats could really pip the Lions. They love to move the ball with pace, but those small forwards, they work so well as a group and they move it nicely inside 50, so the Lions got to watch out. So that's an area where I really could see the Cats get on top and be the influence to winning the game. But for me, start of the year, unfurling of the flag, it's going to be wet conditions, but I just still think at home Brisbane will find a way to win this one. I think their midfield will get on top of the Cats, and let's not forget about their forward half. I just feel like it's so dangerous with Kyle Lohmann, the season out last year, just full of confidence. Logan Morris too, another youngster in there. Lever Ashcroft will probably be playing this game as well, his very first alongside his brother. So expect this one to be a physical game, even if it is going to be played, but I'll back in Brisbane here by 20 points. I think they'll get on top of the Cats. A pretty close game overall, but I reckon Brisbane will run away with it and just be that class above of the Cats and win by 20. Now I move to a game that is 100% certain to play unless there is any more natural disasters. This is the Swans take it on Hawthorn at the SCG. This will be a really good game to watch. I'm excited for this one as a Swanee supporter, but I'm also really excited to see how the Hawks fare this year. I know they're a very overhyped team, but geez, they were exciting last year, and just with how they played, with quick ball movement, great team chemistry, and being able to move the pill. The ground level game was dangerous. Really interested to see how they'll fare in the first few weeks. Just so much expectation on them. And playing the Swans at the SCG, the Swans, They haven't lost a home opener, no, sorry, they haven't lost a season opener since 2019. So the Swans usually, start the season quite well. So it's going to be, I think, a bit of a tricky task if the Hawks are to get up here. There are some personnel issues for both sides. For the Swans, no Callum Mills. Brodie Grundy might be a test. 𝐼𝐷𝐼𝐿, we all know the unfortunate injury that happened with him. He's going to miss, you'd think, at least the first 6 to 8 weeks of the season. I think Cunningham won't get up for this one, so Ben Patton will probably take his place. And maybe some other youngsters like 𝐼𝐻𝐪ley or Riley Bice could also sneak in. Sam Wicks looked pretty shrewd back there and as a small defender, moving back into defence for this year against the Suns. And as for Hawthorn, they will be without Mitch Lewis and also 𝐼𝐷𝐿 𝐎𝐥𝐿 for a while. 𝐸 was such a revelation last year with his aerial ability, so that's going to be a bit of a miss for them. And that is a question on Hawthorn. How will their forward setup go? That is a bit of an issue if they can't get any influence from the likes of 𝗏𝐵𝐿 𝐻𝐿 and not really much aerial service forward of the ball. That's where they could struggle, and the Swans just love to intercept in the back half, get and go, and just kill teams off the counter. So Hawthorn got to watch out for that. But their small forwards, some of the best in the competition. This is a game where I'm really keen to see how the likes of Nick Watson and Dylan Moore and Jack Ginnivan fare. Could they really light it up here on Friday night? Swannies have shown to struggle against some small forwards, and if they force mistakes in their back half, that's where Hawthorn can really pay. Midfield battle should be a very interesting tale too. 𝐼𝐻𝐿 would be obviously raring to go. He had an awesome last 5-6 week period of 2024. Will Day off a full pre-season now, unlike last year. Going to be playing a little bit more forward, which should be interesting. So this one I think can go really either way throughout the first 3 quarters, but it might just take a team to put the foot down in the 4th quarter and kick away. That's what I'm feeling. Both sides play pretty similar in terms of ball movement. They love to move it quick. But I'm just feeling the Swannies in this one. They start the year pretty well. They haven't lost a season opener since 2019. And they're just a side I think you can back a little bit more with confidence. Tommy Papley will also make his return. That forward half game was some of the best last year for the Swans. But if the new recruits like Barras and Josh Battle and 𝐵𝐶𝐿 freed up a little bit, could he impact forward? If they're going to be picking intercept marks all night long, and if they can control the footy well, that's where the Swans struggled a bit last year. When they concede a lot of uncontested marks, they seem to struggle, but I just feel like they'll bring the heat, they'll bring the pressure. This game go either way, but the Swans, I think, put the foot down and kick the last few of the game to get it over the Hawks and win this one by 17 points. For the third game now on Saturday afternoon, we do have the Suns taking on Essendon at People's First Stadium. Both pre-seasons for these sides were, I guess, pretty impressive, especially Essendon. Looking like they're going to be playing with a little bit more efficiency, let's hope, in the forward half. That was the big issue for them last year, and yeah, their front half pressure was pretty excellent against the Cats and also Essendon. 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐴𝐴, obviously talk of the town. Could he really impact from day one? And the Dons last year started off in their midfield oh so well. They're one of the best clearance sides the first 4 weeks or so. So can they start on that same note in 2025? Just feel like that midfield's so promising. We all know about Zach Merrett, but I think Sam Durham can go to the next level. Jai Caldwell, don't forget about him. He was brilliant as soon as he moved into more of a full-time centre-bounce midfielder halfway through last year. But can't sleep on the Suns midfield too, though. Noah Anderson, Matty Rowell in there as well. 𝐷𝐿𝐴 Miller will be confirmed to play this game. Bit of a shame for 𝐿ockie Weller, though. He had some nice moments against the Swans in their pre-season hit-out, playing as a midfielder in a new role, but I think it was like a PCL injury, so doubtful to be playing this game this week. The Suns lacked quite a bit of drive last year off the half-back lines, with Will Powell going down throughout the year. So the acquisitions of Noble and Daniel Rioli should be pretty good for the Suns, I feel, right from the get-go. If they really get that overlap run going through the likes of Daniel Rioli, that's where they could really get over the top of Essendon, given that the Dons struggled with some quick ball movement defensively last year in some of their losses. So who wins this game is the tricky one, given it is opening round. But, I was really impressed with Essendon's pre-season. But, do we look into that too much? I just thought their forward half pressure was so impressive in their midfield in the contested game. So if they can translate that into this match, I would not be surprised at all if they can find a way to win. They're not really the favourable tip here, given it's Gold Coast at home, and they were very good at home last year. But I still feel deep down this could be a new Essendon in 2025. I'll back in the Suns though, given it's at home, and I just think there's just so much expectations for this side, and I think they can start off the year well given their fixture. But deep down, I'm feeling Essendon could genuinely win this game, but I'll back in the Suns. I feel like they can do a number and get on top of that midfield battle with names. Some of those new names in the back half, I feel like they could get some quality drive out of defence. Big game also for King and Walter as well to try and trump their opponents. So I'll back in the Suns here, but not really with much confidence given it's the start of the year. But yeah, Suns at home, we'll go with a safe tip. Close game, I reckon. we'll go the Suns by 13. Which leaves the final game on the Sunday afternoon, a rematch here of last year's opening round game. The Giants taking on the Pies at NG Stadium. Plenty of personnel issues with both sides heading into this game. The Pies going to be without Mason Cox and Jordan 𝐼𝐷𝐸. That's a big out, and also Tom Mitchell. As for the Giants, no Tom Green. That's a big out, I feel, for their midfield. And they were probably one of the more disappointing teams in pre-season. Like, you can lose a game, but geez, the fashion on how they lost both of their games against the Swans and the Blues, I mean, a little bit concerning, but they're just talented, they're well balanced, they're well drilled. I expect them to really turn the corner and play much better football on Sunday afternoon. Midfield battle is going to be a very important one here. It's probably two, on paper, sort of weakish midfields, especially with the absence of Tom Green for the Giants. But also, yeah, I mean, Collingwood's midfield has always been notoriously, on paper, a bit weak, but when you got the likes of Nick Daicos in there, he can really change things as quick as a flash. I think Callaghan was one of the more impressive players for the Giants in pre-season, so I'm keen to see, could he start round one? You know, best on ground, can he really take the game by the scruff of its neck? Brent Daniels and Bedford going to be getting plenty of centre bounces in there as well. Could do a bit of a tagging job as well, Nick Daicos. Houston won't be playing this game due to suspension from last year, but their other recruit, 𝐻𝐻𝐸𝗶𝗹, will be against his former side, most likely in the midfield. Collingwood's ball movement was one of their more dangerous components in their flag-winning year of 2023, but it was exposed a little bit last year, and teams were able to really catch them off the turnovers. So, yeah, it looked obviously very schmick against Richmond, but let's be honest, it was the Tigers, very young team. So against more of a stronger side on paper, can they really bring that quick and clean and effective ball movement, chaos football, you can also call it too. I think if they can really bring that strong ball movement, like them here for the tip. The Giants a little bit underdone, and you know, Stephen Coniglio is also not 100% too. I think this is a good time to get the Giants, I feel, at the start of the year too, whilst, you know, you don't necessarily have to be at the absolute peak of, well, no team's at the peak of their powers. But I'm probably going to be swaying my tip here to the Giants, just because I look at pre-season, it was a concern, and a few personnel issues could hurt them here, and this could be the reason for them maybe going down against the Pies this weekend. But I just think they're going to be coming out all guns blazing. They know that they'll probably just going through the motions in pre-season, like Sam Taylor and Jack Buckley. There's probably some of the worst games I've seen them play. You know, usually those top liners don't usually play like that during the season. And Jack Stringer is going to be playing his first game as well for the club, and there's been so much good noise around them inside the Giants camp from, you know, tweets and all that I've seen. So yeah, I think the Giants will bring their A game for this game, even with the absence of Tom Green. Just got that feeling the Giants can really do a number here on the Pies. You know, bring that elite pressure. They're one of the best pressure sides from last year, and catch them off the turnover. So yeah, go with the Giants here. We'll tip them, and yeah, I think these games will be fairly close, given it's the start of the year and both teams desperate for a win. We'll go the Giants here by 16. So everyone, they were my opening round tips for the 2025 AFL season. As I've said a few times, it's the start of this season, so you can only really say so much about these tips and hope you get them right. So much uncertainty heading into a season, so I'm just keen to see how these games do fare. And yeah, I'm still up in arms. I don't know what's going to be happening recording this Monday night regarding the Geelong and Brisbane game, but for now, assuming it is going to happen. Make sure to leave your footy tips down below, and if you haven't already, join the competition. It's free to do so. First link down below. Thanks very much for tuning in, everybody, and until next time, I will talk to you later. See you later, fellas.